What's going on, guys? It's Daniel from CoinSpots here. Happy Tuesday. Had the day off yesterday. It was Memorial Day, so I was busy doing stuff with the family. Didn't really get to look at any charts or, even have time to record a video, so that's why there was no upload yesterday, but that's all right. We're back, taking a look at Bitcoin on this weekly close. See what's going on. Got a little bounce, little rally going on today. See if we can capitalize on any opportunities. Also, we're going to be taking a look at Ethereum and EOS and the possible conspiracy that is kind of raging Twitter today. A quick look at Bitcoin and some of the behind the scenes that are going on with Bitcoin that don't really reflect in the price. And then we're going to wrap this up with a little bit of macro news about the global economy and specifically the European economy. Right, so we're taking a look at the 1 week chart right now on Bitfinex. We had this weekly close here on Sunday, huge bearish candle. And just by looking at the weekly chart, doesn't really tell me much, at least. We broke through this rough support / resistance zone. Basically, I mapped out this box. It's about a $500 box. And right here, we have the close of this bearish pin bar candle. And that kind of, for me, signified a pretty strong support that this entire wick was bought up. We went up, tested this again roughly as support, broke through it, resistance, broke through it, support, and now we kind of just broke through it again. And this, huge bearish candle breaking this kind of $500 zone is a little reminiscent of this bearish candle right here that subsequently followed the rally to almost 10,000. So it's going to be interesting to see if something similar plays out right here and we have some sort of short-term rally. And speaking of that, if we get a little bit more granular and going into the daily here, remember I had this kind of trend line. I took them out, but a kind of trend line like so. It messes up with my my horizontal SR levels, which is why I took it out. But basically, I could see this kind of going up and then, touching this trend line. I know we were talking about this on Friday with the bounce at this around 7,000 level to fill in this huge void candle that we have here. And basically, touching this downtrend line and, bouncing off of it, which would kind of make this pattern here, but a little bit, smaller, obviously. And it kind of goes into that whole consolidation period that we're having, tightening up with these higher highs and lower lows. Or excuse me, the other way around. Lower highs and higher lows. Right, so let's just take that out, make things a little bit more clean here. But honestly, that is a potential on what could happen within the next couple weeks. So over here, actually on the daily, I was looking at some signals on the weekend. So we had this bullish pin bar candle, and that basically was kind of giving me a signal to go long. However, the next day, we pretty much fell off a cliff a little bit. And this kind of bearish engulfing candle almost touched the support zone. It was, a couple dollars off. And right now, we're looking at a potential bullish engulfing candle. And that's kind of what's really interesting. Because if this bullish engulfing candle does play out, it's definitely going to give me a signal to go long. And, right here, if this is the short-term low, I'm definitely comfortable with that because this huge bull void candle has been pretty much filled. Even though that it didn't exactly touch this support box, that's all right. As I said, it's only a couple dollars off. But if we do close bullish today on this candle and specifically above the wick of this bear candle, that is definitely going to be a sign to go long. We could touch that trend line, which I do believe has confluence with this swing low and swing high and 0.618 fib level. This would be kind of the ultimate target that I'm looking at. Let's just, if we draw that trend line again quickly. Right there. That would be in. That's all the way out. Wow, that's actually all the way in July. Could be plausible, but as I usually do, trend lines aren't an indicator or a tool that I give as much weight to as horizontal SR levels. But for the bullish case, you're going to be wanting to wait to see if this candle closes. Today's candle closes above the wick of this previous candle. Now, going a little bit more granular into the 4-hour, it gives a short setup that I'm actually looking at right now to see where this 4-hour candle closes, because we can see this potential SFP occurring from the April 3rd swing high right here. And if this 4-hour candle, which closes in about an hour 15 minutes, if it does close below this level, I'm definitely going to be shorting this with a target on this swing high right here. So it's basically going to be like that. And then I'm going to place my stop loss right here on this high, like so. Not an exactly clean level right there. Oh, I know I could use magnet mode and get that, but right there, that would be the stop. Let's actually change the color of that. I'm doing this live, actually. But that's what I am looking at right now. If this 4-hour candle closes below the swing high, it's definitely going to be a short for me with the target of the swing high down here from April 9th. Nice little short-term trade. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. As I said, we did bounce in the zone that I was expecting, but we're going to see if this is just something that's short-term, or if it's a little bit more long-term, roughly speaking, the next couple weeks. I think that kind of consolidation pattern from those two trend lines that are coming down from here and up from here can definitely be made a case for. So really, it just all plays down to kind of what happens with this daily candle if you're looking to go long on Bitcoin. Now, moving on to Ethereum, we kind of do have that same SFP watch case on Ethereum with this candle right here. We've got the swing high on this side. Let's just change this to the arrow. Got the swing high right here and kind of waiting for that daily candle to close to see if this is actually an SFP. And then I would be targeting these lows, this previous low here, and then I would take some profits at this area, and then I would also be targeting this 0.618 fib level that does also have confluence with the swing low down here. Let me see. Did I have anything on the 4-hour? I did not. No. So basically just on the daily is where I was watching that SFP. And now basically this huge bearish candle right here actually translates into this first piece of news that's been blowing up all over Twitter today. basically that EOS has sold a ton of Ethereum or that basically caused the price of Ethereum to just plummet, almost how much is, what percent is this here? Like 9-10%, right? So obviously EOS and Ethereum are definitely competitors in the crypto space. So a lot of people are, thinking of, some kind of manipulation, especially with EOS's mainnet launch coming June 2nd. And then kind of the token swap that's going to be going on, because if you remember, EOS started out as an ERC20 token, and when they had their ICO, they raised an insane amount of money. I think it was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't remember the exact amount, but they raised a crazy amount of money on their ICO in Ethereum, obviously, because it was an ERC20 token. And now, they're holding on to a ton of Ethereum. So they very well could, and most likely did, drop this price of Ethereum by 10% by just setting a huge sell order on Bitfinex. Now, obviously, this does have a lot of, leaning to the foul play, because, as I said, EOS and Ethereum are competitors in the space, and kind of selling that huge amount of Ethereum could potentially move the price of EOS up. I'm talking about the total market cap of EOS up and the market cap of Ethereum down. There is definitely an incentive there, but obviously it's not totally clear, because, EOS could have just sold this big batch of Ethereum because they needed the money for something else. However, as I said, just because they are competitors, it leans more towards the foul play on the EOS team. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, and especially with EOS's mainnet launch coming June 2nd, and kind of what goes on with the price because of that. But definitely something to keep your eye on here with EOS. Now, we've got this interesting headline. It was from, 2 days ago, but it honestly kind of puts things into perspective. So the title is basically, despite hitting monthly price lows, Bitcoin network fundamentals keep growing. And this is kind of something that it's not just for Bitcoin, it's for a ton of other cryptocurrencies as well, right? We're in this bear market now ever since January, obviously, right? Bitcoin has pretty much lost more than half of its value, but so much more innovation and growth has come on the technical side of the coins. So in Bitcoin's case, right, we have the number of SegWit transactions going up, showing that miners are definitely adopting SegWit. We also have the Lightning Network growing, the hash rate going up, and all of these indicators show that there's a lot of advancement in the Bitcoin network itself. And this can be said for a ton of other coins as well. EOS, NEO, ZRX, and the list goes on. And basically, the whole point of this is that the technology is growing, and it's getting better, and growing overall. However, price is slumping and continuously falling down. Now, whether that's due to manipulation and people suppressing the price, which is definitely possible. We talked about this on Friday with the Department of Justice launching an investigation into Bitcoin price manipulation. And obviously, since Bitcoin pretty much leads the market and is an indicator for where all other alts are going to go, if Bitcoin is suppressed and kept lower, the same thing is going to happen to alts. So because of this kind of divergence that's going on between the tech and the price, I think that eventually it's really going to cause the price to just shoot up and kind of catch up with where the technology is at, right? I know a lot of people always say how most of crypto is stuff that isn't proven. They have ICOs, they don't even have a mainnet released. And a lot of that is true, but for certain coins like this, like ZRX, right? ZRX had a mainnet before they had an ICO. Constant growth going on in the ZRX ecosystem, adoption going on in the ZRX ecosystem, right? We talked about the whole Coinbase acquisition of Paradex. Something big is going on with the tech, and the price has to meet up with that. And eventually, when people realize that the price is just lagging so far behind the tech, I think that's when we're going to see the next alt run, for a month or two, basically, right? Kind of a rehash of what we saw back in November, right? Where things are going up 300, 400, 500%. So I really do believe that this divergence is going to play out ultimately play out in another altcoin run, because people are going to see how undervalued certain tokens or certain companies, in this case cryptocurrency companies, are. Right, so moving on to the last piece. This is interesting. Red flags are suddenly soaring in markets, and they're specifically talking about Europe's markets. This is an article from the Wall Street Journal, and basically there's a ton of political turmoil going on in Italy, with the current president basically like barring the opposition party from doing some things. I don't remember exactly. I don't really need to get into the nitty-gritty details of it, because that's not the point of this, or why I bring this article up. It's really more of the macro concept of what is going to happen when we have some kind of bear market in the United States or globally. And obviously, since the world is becoming more of a global economy, stuff in Europe, troubles in Europe, unrest in Europe, is going to translate in, or is going to have an effect in the US markets. So this, like we talked about on Friday with the Fed or Congress kind of repealing some of the laws that kept banks in check after the 2008 crisis. This could also be a potential catalyst for people moving into crypto, right? If we have bonds and yields going to all-time lows, that money is going to be, or that money has to go somewhere else. And we've never seen a bear market in stocks at the same time as crypto, right? Because obviously crypto started in 2008, and the stock market and pretty much global markets have been just on an uptrend for the last couple years, ever since 2008, pretty much 10 years at this point now. So crypto definitely has the potential to be some sort of safe haven for money, whether it's retail investor money or institutional, just big player money, when the global markets are in a decline. And that's why it's kind of important to keep up with these headlines here, not necessarily, needing to know every single bit of information about why stuff is happening, but the performance of the stock market is definitely an indicator to watch, and how that trend correlates into crypto. So that's kind of where I'm going to end it off here. Something to think about, at least from the macro perspective. So going to just keep watching Bitcoin as usual. SFP here is definitely looking good. We've got an hour until this candle closes, so definitely going to be posting this one up on Twitter. Other than that, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Helps grow out the podcast. Subscribe if you do like it. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. See ya.